Mammography is one of the best screening tools to find breast cancer.
Breast cancer may not be preventable, but you can survive it through early detection. If you're a mother or grandmother, sister or best friend, aunt or cousin,
we encourage you to know your risk, make healthy lifestyle choices, and to know what's normal for your body.
Get screened, get your mammogram annually. We did!
Bamboo Town MP Renward Wells fired from his Ministry of Works post. Reaction from his former boss. FNM Deputy Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands to run for deputy leader. The nation's Ebola response plan revealed. And the former Prime Minister observing elections in Mozambique. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts now. Topping news tonight, following more than 12 weeks of controversy and criticism, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Works, Renward Wells, was fired last night. He is the third PLP MP to be fired from a senior government post since the Progressive Liberal Party took office in 2012. Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis said today it is unfortunate that Wells did not resign, but he maintained that he understands his reasons for signing a letter of intent. Bonnie Toot reports.
3 months after Prime Minister Perry Christie asked him to resign, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Works, Renward Wells, has been fired. Now, Christie refused to speak with reporters outside Cabinet this morning, but Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works Philip Davis says it's unfortunate Wells had to be fired. He called his actions misguided.
I think that was unfortunate. I think he was misguided not to have followed any advice, if that was the advice given to him.
Following repeated calls for Prime Minister Christie to fire Wells, a simple announcement came last night. The Cabinet Office advises that the Governor-General, acting in accordance with the advice of the Prime Minister, has directed that the office of Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Works and Urban Development become vacant. It is unclear whether Christie intends to provide an explanation on the letter of intent Wells signed with Stellar Waste to Energy in July for a $600 million plus waste to energy plant without cabinet approval. However, Christie refused to comment today.
Good morning, sir.
Though he is satisfied with Christie's decision to fire Wells, Davis once again insisted he understands why the Bamboo Town MP signed that document and said he hopes it does not affect his relationship with party leaders.
I would hope not. I mean, he just has to explain what happened. As I said before, what he did I would not have done, but I understand what he did. I think he has to explain that.
Will he be asked to? Because he said that he was expected to speak.
Well, it's up to him. I mean, I think having now been relieved of his duties, it'll be for him to speak to the circumstances under which he would have signed the letter of intent.
Davis could not say if Wells would receive another appointment or if his vacant position in the Ministry of Works would be filled. However, he says he could use the help. Though Wells took a backseat in the ministry after the controversy arose, Davis says the Bamboo Town MP was effective.
He was playing quite an integral role. He was involved in most of the things I was doing, and he was effective as a parliamentary secretary with me, but he's now gone.
Free National Movement Deputy Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands slammed the government for releasing such a vague statement and asserted it's about time Christie took action. Davis says he's not surprised.
Now we get this ambiguous, imprecise document that came out of the Cabinet Office. I suspect it is going to open the door for a nice golden parachute for Mr. Wells.
What else do you expect them to say? As I indicated before, the Prime Minister marches at his own beat. That is what they think, that he ought to have acted quickly. He decided to act when he did, and he did act.
The Nassau Guardian reported on July 21st that Christie asked Wells to resign. However, he refused. Christie told reporters on September 25th that he had asked Wells to speak to the nation on the matter in the House of Assembly. However, Wells remained silent. No word on whether the results of that investigation into the LOI signing would ever be made public. Davis says that's something Wells has to speak to. Reporting from Cabinet for NB12, I'm Vwani Tood.
The Free National Movement's deputy leader post is fast becoming highly contested. FNM Deputy Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands announced his candidacy for deputy leader today. FNM Chairman Darren Cash made the same announcement yesterday. We also understand several other seasoned FNM politicians are also considering the post. Jasmine Brown has more in this report.
Dr. Sands made the announcement just outside his medical offices this morning, insisting that the FNM must regroup and create a political dream team moving forward. Speculation has circulated for weeks over what post Sands would run for, with several videos like this one appearing on the recently launched website DwayneSands.com.
I intend to go into convention and to offer my services to my party and to my beloved Bahamian people.
While the video confirmed his deputy leadership bid online, Sands officially launched his campaign during a Meet the Press session this morning. He said he made the decision after much consultation with his family and members of his party. Sands says he has spent much of his medical career serving others and adds that the next logical step is to serve the people politically.
Dwayne Sands, as the father of 4 wonderful children, has decided that he is going to do his part, and he is going to throw a serious blow in order to get this country back on course.
Sands added that he decided to run for deputy leader, not the leadership post, solely based on the fact that he is not a member of parliament.
As you know, I do not currently enjoy a seat in the House of Assembly. And historically, the Free National Movement has had a period where the leader of the Free National Movement performed admirably from the Senate. But I think that a better model will be to not try to reinvent that wheel.
He says being second in command is not a bad thing.
I don't think that there will be any great problem from making a contribution riding shotgun as opposed to being in the driver's seat.
The FNM will hold a one-day convention on November 21st to deal with the leadership issue. Current Deputy Leader Loretta Butler Turner will be running against FNM leader Dr. Hubert Minnis. But Cash may not be the only person running against Sands. As our news team understands, other veteran party members are also considering the post. There has been reported strife between Minnis and Butler Turner, which insiders have said is hurting the party. When asked what he thought of the party's current leader, he gave this response.
Dr. Minnis has strengths, and Dr. Minnis has demonstrated that there's always room for improvement. And, you know, as the leader of the Free National Movement, it's an unbelievably challenging task. So I think that what we need to do is to build on those strengths, to augment those strengths, to complement those strengths, and to identify any challenges, deficiencies, or weaknesses in any team member, from the leader on down. I am not a perfect person. I am not a perfect politician. I have my strengths and I have my weaknesses. The question is, can we put together not only an effective team, but a team which resonates in the hearts and minds of the Bahamian public?
Sands says no matter the outcome, he is willing to work closely with whoever wins the party's top post following next month's convention.
I am prepared to serve under whichever leader is successful in their bid. But make no bones about it, this is going to be about teamwork to restore the passion, the excitement, the commitment to the redevelopment and the restoration of this country that I love.
Sands added that he plans to bring a more focused and results-oriented style of leadership within the party, and added that he is prepared to make difficult decisions. He is running under the campaign slogan, "New Leadership, New Beginnings." Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Free National Movement leader Dr. Hubert Minnis is insisting an auditor's finding that $10 million in pharmaceuticals could not be accounted for at the Princess Margaret Hospital last year is not an issue. Minnis claims the report reflects clerical errors. The forensic accounting report reveals there was a $10 million difference in inventory between the physical count and the theoretical inventory balances at the Princess Margaret Hospital pharmacy, and no satisfactory explanation was provided. Minnis, who said he read the report, claimed there were 2 clerical errors that any accountant could have caught.
The facts are this. One, there was a clerical error in that report, and I asked the investigators and I asked the newspapers to go and check. There was a clerical error in that report where 1 liter of intravenous fluid, which cost no less than $20, was recorded as $5.4 million. There was another clerical error where another liter of fluid was recorded at $3.6 something million. That was in excess of $9 million clerical error, which the accountant should have picked up.
Our news team did not locate those clerical errors in the report of the forensic auditor, John Bain. The report covers the period July 1st, 2006 through June 30th, 2013. When asked if any of the concerns raised by the auditors were ever brought to his attention when he served as health minister between 2007 and 2012, Minnis said no. The F&M leader also insisted he plans on raising the issue in the House of Assembly at the next sitting.
When we go back to Parliament, or at some point, I will go through that report and I will show you the errors and the mistake.
Meantime, Minister of Health Dr. Perry Gomez said the government will do the right thing once the PHA is done with its investigations into the alleged abuses. The Ministry of Health now training health workers to deal with the possibility of the deadly Ebola virus entering the Bahamas. They're doing so as new cases continue to pop up in the United States. The chief medical officer says it's impossible to think the Bahamas can prevent the disease from entering our borders. Tonight, Shanique Miller looks at the ministry's response and treatment plan.
By December, the World Health Organization expects 10,000 new Ebola cases in West Africa per week. Already, the deadly disease has made its way to the United States, killing 1 person in Dallas. And the cases of infection are spreading. 11 days ago, a Miami teen was placed in quarantine. Today, 2 nurses in Dallas are infected. Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Delon Brennan, believes the chances that the Bahamas will remain unscathed are unlikely.
We know that it is almost impossible to prevent that 1 case from entering into your borders. But it's what you do with that case once it actually enters into the country that makes the world of difference.
But the Ministry of Health and the Department of Public Health are not letting that possibility stop them from putting systems in place. Brennan described the protocol that's already in place.
What we've been doing is actually having some stakeholder conversations and some consultations with people at our ports of entry. So we have included the airport authority, the NAD, the Customs and Immigration. So we've been able to gather together those stakeholders and inform them about what Ebola is, how it's transmitted, what their risk of transmission is, but also let them know what are the type of symptoms they should be looking for in potential suspected cases that would come into the Bahamas, and what are they to do once those cases are to present.
Brennan says the Ministry of Health staff are being specially trained and quarantine centers already identified. He says the Ministry of Health has the necessary specialized equipment and treatment in place, although it's only enough for 3 days and with the capacity to treat a maximum of 3 people.
Because not all PPEs are the exact same. We have to make sure it's the correct PPEs and we have them in the right amount. Because we really need to make sure that you have enough to be able to care for a patient or a set of patients for a period of time until you can get relief supplies. Because we have regional partners with the Pan American Health Organization and global partner like the WHO, we do know that we would, if we were to identify a case, that we would be able to access some of the relief supplies in the region.
The Ebola outbreak has also captured the attention of governments around the region. In Trinidad and Tobago, for example, there is consideration of possibly canceling next year's carnival. I asked Dr. Brennan, was this something the government of the Bahamas was also considering about our carnival next year?
So as we move forward toward Bahamas Carnival and as we move forward toward the IAAF World Relays again, Ebola in particular is going to be something that we need to consider whether our approach to it needs to be different, and our screening practices at present may be very different when we know we have people coming from the region, when we know we have issues related to exposures in a very concentrated period of time. We may need to consider what our screening practices need to be at that time and what changes may need to be made.
Brennan and his team are relying on public education to prevent any real outbreak in the Bahamas. Meantime, World Health officials insist putting a ban on travel won't stem outbreaks. Countries need only be ready. Reporting for NB12, I'm Shanique Miller.